The dark side of gratitude. Why being positive all the time is dangerous. The mask of forced happiness. We're back, and today, we're going to hack one of the most sacred, unquestionable pillars of the self-development world: toxic positivity. Get ready, because what we're about to dismantle may feel uncomfortable, but it's essential if you want real evolution. We're going to expose a lie you've been sold, an illusion that traps you and makes you feel guilty for being simply human. The idea that we must be happy all the time, that gratitude is the only answer to every challenge, is not a tool of empowerment. It's a heavy mask that stops us from breathing, feeling, and being authentic. Have you noticed how we're constantly pressured to be positive? Focus on the bright side. Be grateful for everything. Don't complain. Gratitude and positive thinking, which should be tools to expand our awareness, have been turned into an imposed religion, a hollow mantra repeated endlessly. But what if you're not feeling that way? What if you're facing an inner storm, fear, anxiety, or sadness over something that happened? The pressure to wear this happiness mask is so intense that we start repressing our most genuine feelings, the ones society labels as negative. We swallow the pain of loss, smother the frustration of failure, and pretend we're fine because the world told us being negative is a character flaw, proof that we're not trying hard enough in our self-improvement journey. The fear of judgment, of being seen as pessimistic or ungrateful, drives us to create a facade of well-being that doesn't match our inner reality. And what happens when we repress our shadow? It doesn't vanish. It grows in the dark, becoming bigger and more dangerous until it explodes at the worst possible time. You feel guilty for not being happy all the time, for not being grateful enough for the draining job, the exhausting relationship, or the life that doesn't feel like yours. That guilt is a subtle poison, eroding your mental health and pulling you further from self-discovery. It's a vicious cycle of denial. We deny our pain, deny our frustration, deny our humanity. And why? Because the system taught us that negative emotions are a bug in the code, something to be fixed, not a fundamental part of our existence. The instruction manual we were given is wrong, and we need to rewrite it. Think about it. Just as darkness is necessary for light to shine, sadness and anger are necessary for growth. They're signals, red alerts from your internal system telling you something needs to be addressed, that a boundary's been crossed, that change is required. They're your system's error messages, and if you keep ignoring them in the name of forced positivity, you end up losing yourself along the way. True emotional freedom isn't about pretending everything's fine, it's about having the courage to face what isn't. It's about honoring all your feelings and knowing you're human, with all your complexities and imperfections. Gratitude, used subversively, isn't a tool to deny what's bad, it's a way to appreciate what's good, even when the world feels like it's falling apart. It's gratitude for your strength, your capacity to feel, and your resilience. To start deprogramming this mask, here's a simple but powerful action. Today, if you feel anger, sadness, or frustration, don't repress it. Let yourself feel it. Say to yourself out loud if you can, it's okay to feel this. It's just part of who I am right now. Let the emotion pass through you without judgment or guilt. Just observe. If this reflection freed you in some way, drop the comment, "I feel and I release." Like this video and subscribe so we can keep this journey going. Now that we've removed the mask, let's dismantle what's behind it. Let's talk about how a tool of power, gratitude, has been turned into a weapon of repression. The gratitude hack. When kindness becomes toxic. In the self-development universe, gratitude is sold as the magic pill, the ultimate fix for every problem. Keep a gratitude journal. Thank the universe. Be grateful for everything. And in our quest for a better life, we swallow that pill without question. But what if we look closer? Gratitude, when imposed, becomes a command, a duty. And here's the danger. When you're going through a rough time, when work frustration is eating you alive, or when sadness knocks on your door, the first thing society says is, be grateful for what you have. At least you have your health. It could be worse. These phrases, which seem harmless, are actually a form of toxic positivity. They invalidate your feelings. They tell you your pain isn't real, that your frustration is unjustified. and that you should feel guilty for not being happy all the time. This is the most dangerous type of emotional repression because it comes disguised as friendly advice, noble thinking. It's like a virus in your system, making you believe the only way to be a good or spiritual person is by ignoring what is wrong. It convinces you the problem is your attitude, not the situation itself. But we're mind hackers. We know the code only runs well if we're honest about the errors. The result of forced gratitude is a shallow, inauthentic life where we can't talk about our struggles, fears, or insecurities, and that creates massive loneliness. We feel isolated in our pain because the online world is filled with people who seem grateful and happy 24/7, flaunting a perfect life that simply doesn't exist. You look around and see a friend who's always smiling, and you feel bad for not doing the same without realizing that behind that smile are the same struggles you face. The truth is, real gratitude isn't a perpetual state of joy. It coexists with sadness, anger, and frustration. You can be grateful for life and still furious about an injustice. You can be grateful for your health and still heartbroken over a loss. Genuine gratitude doesn't deny your feelings, it embraces them and gives you the ability to appreciate the good even when the bad is present. Emotional freedom isn't about having only good vibes, it's about having the courage to feel everything without guilt. So, what's the practical hack to rewire this mindset? Next time you feel the urge to be grateful for something huge, stop. Instead, find something small, something real, something that gives you even a tiny spark of peace. It could be sunlight through your window, the taste of your coffee, a melody, or a child's smile. Be grateful for that small moment without forcing it. Feel that genuine gratitude. This kind of authentic, obligation-free feeling is what truly frees us. Try creating a subversive journal where you write not only what you're grateful for, but also what made you angry, scared, or frustrated. Be brutally honest with yourself. This is your first step toward self-discovery. If you agree that gratitude should always be authentic, drop the comment, authentic gratitude. Like this video if this conversation is opening your eyes, and subscribe so you won't miss the next hacks. Now that we've hacked gratitude, it is time to talk about the emotions it tries to silence and how they can become your greatest allies. Turning anger and sadness into your greatest allies. Now that we understand the problem with forced gratitude, let's talk about the feelings it tries to bury: anger, sadness, frustration. These emotions, which the system has programmed us to see as bugs, are actually some of our most powerful self-discovery tools. They're alerts from your nervous system, signals that something needs attention, that a boundary's been crossed, or that a need hasn't been met. A true mind hacker doesn't ignore system alerts, they investigate them. We've been conditioned to believe anger is bad and sadness is a weakness. That's a lie. These emotions are defense codes, powerful tools for growth. Take sadness, for example. It's not a flaw. It's a natural response to loss, disappointment, or disconnection. If you don't allow yourself to feel sadness, it turns into a kind of silent weight, a constant hum in the background that drains your energy, blocks your emotional freedom, and keeps you from connecting deeply with yourself and others. Sadness teaches us what we value, what we love, and our capacity to feel. It's a compass for empathy. Anger, on the other hand, is pure power. Rather than being an act of destruction, it can be a motor for change, a spark that pushes you to stand up for what you believe in. Anger at injustice, unfair treatment, or oppressive situations is the fuel that makes us rise and say, enough. It's a defense mechanism in our code. The biggest mistake is thinking the goal is to get rid of these feelings. Subversive evolution teaches us the goal is to use them, turning the energy of anger into action, and the depth of sadness into empathy and connection. So how do we do that? Not with empty self-help quotes, but with real, practical actions. If you're angry, instead of bottling it up, try writing about it. Dump it into a digital journal or onto paper. Let the anger flow out, but in a controlled, conscious way. Or channel it into intense physical activity, a run, a workout. Remember, anger is energy in motion, the key is to direct that motion towards something productive. If you're sad, give yourself permission to feel it. Put on music that makes you cry. Watch a movie that moves you. Acknowledge the sadness without judgment and tell yourself it's a natural part of your process. Sadness invites you to slow down, heal, and reconnect with yourself. Use it as a moment for self-discovery. Subversive mental health isn't about a pain-free life, it's about having the tools to navigate pain consciously. Next time a negative emotion shows up, instead of forcing yourself into positivity, run a hacker-esque scan. Investigate where the feeling comes from and what it's trying to tell you. This is your inner compass, and it never fails unless you ignore its signal. When you stop fighting these emotions, you stop wasting energy and start building strength from the inside out. If you're ready to embrace your emotions, drop the comment, "I feel, I use." Like this if you understand the power in these feelings, and subscribe for more self-discovery codes. Now, let's move to the final stage: how to build true, lasting resilience with all your emotions as allies. Open source resilience, building real emotional strength. Here's the paradox: gratitude isn't the enemy, forced gratitude is. True resilience comes from practicing gratitude in a way that acknowledges all your emotions, not just the shiny, Instagram-ready ones. Real gratitude is not a filter. It's a lens that lets you see clearly, without erasing what's uncomfortable. The system loves to weaponize gratitude because it keeps people docile. If you think you should be thankful for crumbs, you'll never ask for the feast you deserve. That's why the self-help industry sells gratitude journals with pastel covers so you can fill them with forced affirmations instead of uncomfortable truths. But a subversive mind knows that gratitude should coexist with dissatisfaction, ambition, and even anger. Imagine your emotional reality like a full-spectrum light. Forced positivity cuts out all but the brightest colors, leaving you with the distorted picture. Authentic gratitude, on the other hand, includes every shade. It allows you to say, "I'm grateful for what I have, but I still want better," or "I'm grateful for this lesson, but I won't accept being treated like this again." The trick is to reprogram how you practice it. Instead of listing only good things, include everything that shapes your reality, yes, even the hard stuff. Write down, "I'm grateful for my frustration, because it showed me I need change. I'm grateful for that failure, because it redirected me. Grateful for my sadness, because it deepened my empathy." This turns gratitude from a numbing agent into an amplifier of awareness. It stops being a cage and becomes a sword, something you can wield with precision. True resilience isn't about being positive all the time. It's about facing life without flinching, looking straight at the chaos, pain, and uncertainty, and saying, "I can work with this." When you accept all parts of your emotional code, nothing can be used against you. And here's the real hack. Once you embrace all emotions, gratitude naturally becomes deeper, more genuine, and more powerful. It's no longer a script you're reading, it's a feeling you're living. So, the next time someone tells you to just be grateful, run it through your hacker filter. Are they empowering you or trying to keep you compliant? If it's the latter, smile, nod, and quietly keep building your unfiltered, unapologetic version of gratitude. Because here's the secret: you can be grateful and still demand more from life. You can be thankful and still burn for change. And that balance, the harmony between appreciation and ambition, is where true freedom lives. If this hit you like a code you've been waiting to crack, drop a gratitude, but real, in the comments. Like this if you've ever felt suffocated by forced positivity, and subscribe so you never miss another mind-hacking truth. Now, go rewrite your gratitude line by line, feeling by feeling, until it's yours again.